Hi guys, my name is Julian Hemmings, and I want to give you my book review of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Second book in the Harry Potter series, and as my reviews go, I give a book summary, then I go into the characters, I talk about the pros and the cons, and I give my eventual score. It's out of 1 to 5. So the book summary. We find Harry Potter in the Dursley home. He has moved on up to Dudley's second bedroom. He went up from the cupboard to the second
A little more grateful. We've raised you since you were a baby, given you the food off our table, even let you have Dudley's second bedroom purely out of the goodness of our hearts.
Not now, Bob.
What you're really seeing from this story is the level of abuse that Harry is encountering. He is forced to do all of the chores on his own to make sure that they're performed extremely well. The family from the father's job, Vernon Dursley's job, comes to the home. Harry has to hide because they're ashamed of him. So you're seeing these dynamics of forced labor, shame, and abuse encompass the psyche of Harry. And it's kind. I mean, I don't think Rowling puts it in a way where kids would be easily disturbed by what they're witnessing, but it is something that, as an older person, I'm 22 now, you're really seeing a level of abuse occur within this magical story. When we go further into the story, we see the mischief arrive in the form of the incredible figure that is Dobby. And Dobby is as sporadic and frantic as any character that we've seen in the Hogwarts universe or the Harry Potter universe.
Harry Potter. Such an honour it is.
Who are you?
Dobby, sir. Dobby the house elf.
But this isn't a great time for me to have a house elf in my bedroom.
And he is incredible. Dobby tells Harry that he must not return. And he just creates all sorts of havoc within the story when Harry says no, resulting in Vernon shutting Harry into his room. Harry's best friend Ron comes with his brothers into his father's muggle flying car, his muggle car turned flying vehicle, and they arrive to Harry's door, bust him out. You see the drama that is occurring between Vernon and the Weasleys. Who's going to take this boy home? Eventually the Weasleys win. Harry goes off with them, and you're open to a scene that is so beautiful and comforting, which is the scene that's written by J.K. Rowling about the Hogwarts, written about the Weasley home. You see the magic occur and little sparks of life, and you see...
Okay, come on, shh. Okay, come on. Shh. Do you think you'll be alright if we had some of this? Yeah, Mum will never know.
It's not much, but it's home.
I think it's brilliant.
Where have you been?
Seeing how magic can make home life a lot easier. We eventually make the turn, and Harry's supposed to go to Hogwarts, and then we have the flying car scene because Harry can't go through the wall. And I love this scene. Of course, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of things in this book don't make any sense, but it's magic, right? and it's so action-packed. It's so thrilling to read, and you just feel like, oh my God, I'm on the edge of this incredible chase scene. And so Harry and Ron are going through this madness. They have found out that they exposed the wizarding world, not fully, of course. And it's funny because I think J.K. Rowling is playing up the idea that a lot of the UFOs that we see are not extraterrestrials, but they could possibly be wizards. And just another element is saying, could this world actually exist? Further from that point, where we're seeing that Harry and Ron are given a very easy punishment, which is a simple detention for almost exposing the wizarding world. It is absolutely hilarious. From there is a mystery that arrives, or there's a mystery that has been placed in front of the reader, which is who opened the Chamber of Secrets. Is threatening to shut down the entire school. And we're seeing themes arrive in the novel that is relating to racial superiority, which is in the form of blood superiority. And we're seeing this element of division that's happening within the wizarding community that is very reminiscent of our own world.
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
And with the Chamber of Secrets arriving, that it is a tool that is used to maintain blood superiority. It's creating a very dark atmosphere in this children's book. And what I think it's doing is that it's showing that Harry Potter is not a simple children's book, which most children's books fall into this thing that I'm going to talk about. But it's an allegory into the way that our own world works, that is more apt to be digested by the audience, and that can reveal to us a truth about our own society. What I'm starting to figure out from this book is that I think the Chamber of Secrets functions as a tool that reveals a lot of the bigotry and the feelings that are submerged within our society, that erupts in the form of the basilisk, whether it's racism and sexism, that really petrifies people and kills them. Might not be physically, it can be physically, but sometimes mentally and spiritually, and forces them to recoil and stay frozen and to be taken out of society. And if the Chamber of Secrets is not found and the basilisk destroyed, then our country, our world would have to shut down. That our feelings of prejudice towards each other is what can destroy society. Really deep read, probably not what J.K. Rowling meant. Maybe it was what she meant. Going further from that point, Harry has to ask himself, what can I do? How can I discover who opened the Chamber of Secrets? And he finds this book by this guy named Tom Riddle. And Tom is exposing it, and he's saying, oh, it was possibly Hagrid. And so we're seeing this really interesting scene where Hagrid is taken by the Ministry of Magic. Harry goes meets Aragog, and there's this Ron has to face his fear of spiders. And Ron is scared of a lot of things. But people often notice that he's scared, but they don't notice that he's constantly overcoming his own fear. And I think it just makes Ron an even more incredible character, because I think people associate him with being a coward, but I want you to take a test at empathy and ask yourself, would you be okay with standing in front of a 12-foot spider and all of his children coming down webs, and you're going to have to witness that? Obviously not. So going further from that point, we're seeing scenes of Quidditch, of course. I love Quidditch in the Harry Potter books and movies, so this was not an issue. And we're kind of moving towards mystery. Hermione is eventually petrified. Before she's petrified, there's a polyjuice scene. my thing about this book, and it's going to go towards my cons eventually, is that the magic here is too easy. And if it's this easy, this should become more of a constant theme within magic. The fact that a second-year witch can do all of this insane levels of magic. I understand that she's prodigious, but this is going to like a superwoman theory, Superman theory, and things that it just doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't give that level of restriction there that I think this story should have. So going further from that, Hermione's eventually petrified. They discover that the Draco Malfoy or Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets. They discover that the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is an absolute fraud, which he absolutely is.
It can't be Harry Potter.
Harry Potter! Excuse me, madam.
Nice big smile, Harry. Together you and I rate the front page. Ladies and gentlemen, what an extraordinary...
And going from that point on, where we enter into the chamber where Harry performs something called Parseltongue to open it up. We see Parseltongue take on different elements within this story, especially within the duel scene where Harry speaks it and everybody thinks he is the descendant, Salazar Slytherin. See, speaking Parseltongue is one of the biggest traits of seeing not only a descendant of Salazar Slytherin, but also seeing a dark wizard. I think people know that Salazar Slytherin could spoke Parseltongue and Lord Voldemort. So it's showing that Harry Potter, he might not be a dark wizard. It shows that he possibly could have been practicing. We know it isn't, but that's how they're thinking. And that he has potential to be a very great and powerful dark wizard, which is absolutely true. So Harry's starting to ask himself, am I a dark wizard? Am I a bad guy? And we're seeing this really deep battle occur within Harry's spirit. And you really start to feel within him, and because you start to ask yourself, is he really, does he have this type of potential? Of course not, right? But you take this journey with Harry. We eventually move towards the scene where he opens up Chamber of Secrets. You know, Gilderoy Lockhart is exposed. He tries to wipe Harry's memory away and Ron's memory away with Ron's broken wand that he broke at the Whomping Willow. And, you know, this, as it always goes, it reverberates back on him and he loses memory. Harry then goes ahead and faces Tom Riddle in a very anticlimactic battle. It wasn't really that long. It was better in the movies. Point, we see that Jenny Weasley was the one who's opening the chamber, but she was possessed by the spirit of Lord Voldemort. And there's a really big theme of possession within, I think, both this book and the previous book. And what I think this theme of possession represents is how these ideas can come into the minds of the innocent and result in them harming others. Ideas that have related to bigotry. So the bigotry of the ancestors goes towards the minds of the young, and they begin to produce the violence that those before us did. So it's an incredible book with a lot of symbolism. The third one's going to be even greater in its level of describing symbols that represent our own world. So some of the pros and cons of the book. Pros, incredible symbolism. Pros, I absolutely loved Gilderoy Lockhart. He reminded me of like a Donald Trump figure. And another pro is that I love the mystery element of the story. I think the con is that another pro is it's really psychological. You're really going into Harry's mind and how he's feeling and the nervousness that he has. I think the con is that's a little bit meandering. And I would like the stakes to be a little bit higher when I'm reading the story. This, at times, feels like a pit stop. So I think it's better than the first book, which was really focused on world building. But this book gets a solid 4 stars out of 5. It's not the best book, but it's pretty good. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for watching my show, and have a great one.